हरि ओम। ओ ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं भवानी शङ्करो वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणो याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्थमीश्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताया पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वतीपतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। Today we will revise the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita and conclude this year-long Gita Jnana Yajna. And tomorrow we will have Shri Ram Navami Puja. So this samsar in which we are living is filled with a lot of sorrow, pain, suffering, fear. So what is the way out? The sorrow and suffering is caused by ignorance of our own self, and we have to gain self-knowledge to become free. In order to gain this self-knowledge, we have to prepare our mind, make it calm, peaceful, pure, by following the path of Karma Yoga. And from the teacher we gain self-knowledge. Then we do karma sannyas and meditate till we gain abidance in our own self. The self is not confined only to this body, but the self is all pervading. The entire world is pervaded by our own self. Everything exists in our own self. The nature of that self was revealed from chapter number 7. Bhagwan revealed that the whole world is expression of his Prakriti. Everything exists in him and he exists in everything. And that Ishvara is Sakshat Brahma, and that Brahma is our own self. So in order to attain that Brahma, we have to do sadhana. So Bhagwan briefly mentioned the Daivi and Asuri Sampatti also. We have to cultivate the Daivi Sampatti and eliminate the negativities like Kama, Krodha, Lobha by following sincerely the sadhana of Yajna, Dana and Tapas. Now Bhagwan in this 18th chapter summarizes the entire teaching of Bhagavad Gita. So it begins with Arjuna's question. Arjuna wants to know what exactly is the meaning of the term sannyas and tyaga. Sannyasasya mahabaho tattvam ichchami veditum tyagasya cha rishikesha pruthakkesh nishodhana. What is the meaning of sannyas and what is the meaning of tyaga? So Bhagwan tells what the wise people and the Shastras they say, कि काम्यानाम कर्मणाम न्यासम संन्यासम कवयो विदुहु. That to give up all kamya karma is sannyas, and to give up the attachment to the result of action while performing our nitya naimittik karma, that is called tyaga. See, the steps are that we have to first purify our mind and gain self-knowledge. We have to recognize our own self as Brahma. And then we have to meditate till we gain abidance in the self. So for that meditation, we have to renounce action which are not required, and finally should be able to renounce even the sense of doership. So sannyas also happens. There are two types of sannyas mentioned. One is Vividisha Sannyas and another is Vidvat Sannyas. Vividisha Sannyas is of the sadhak who is following this path sincerely, trying to gain that self-knowledge and become free of the attachment to this karma, and finally become free of the sense of doership. So sadhak, the sannyas of a sadhak is what is called Vividisha Sannyas. But when a person gains self-knowledge and gains abidance in that self-knowledge, then sannyas is automatic. Sannyas happens. Then he doesn't have to put forth special effort to renounce the sense of doership. The sense of doership gets negated automatically. That is Vidvat Sannyas. So here Bhagavan first tells about the Vividisha Sannyas. If one should continue performing one's duties, and in the beginning the seeker should give up the kamya karma, desire prompted actions should be renounced. A sincere student of spirituality should renounce kamya karma, but should continue doing his duties, and while doing his duties should become more and more free of the results of karma, should perform the duties as a seva of Ishvara, as worship of Ishvara. And in these duties the threefold karma of yajna, dana and tapas should never be given up. Bhagavan says, yajna dana tapak karma na tyajyam karyam eva tata yajnyo danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. This yajna dana tapak karma should never be given up because they are purifying. They purify our antakarana. Thereafter, Bhagavan tells us the mechanism of this karma, how this karma happens. See, it was said before also, Bhagavan had said that all karmas happen in the field of Prakriti only. Prakriti kriyamanani gunaik karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma karta ahamiti manyate. All karmas take place in Prakriti by the gunas of Prakriti. Atma is not the doer. The gunas of Prakriti perform all action. But due to our ignorance of our own self, different desires arises, and these desires motivate those karmas in different directions. So desires also are in the field of Prakriti, and all actions happen in the field of Prakriti. Atma is not the doer. So there are 5 factors which are involved in an action to happen. And that Bhagavan says are adhishthanam tatha karta karanam cha prathak vidham vividhascha prathak cheshtaha daivam chaivatra panchamam. Adhishthanam, that is the body, the physical, our body is required for actions to happen. Then there is a sense of doership which is born out of ignorance. We consider ourselves the doer, so that karta is there. Then karanam, the various organs of action, as well as our antakarana are required for action to happen. So karanam cha prathak vidham. Then vividhascha prathak cheshta, and the activities of this various instrument which is powered by the Pancha Pranas, that is also required for karma to happen. And Daivam Chevatra Panchamam, and the Devata, the respective Devatas of these senses, the mind, etc., are also involved in an action to happen. So all these factors are part of Prakriti only. So the matter which is involved in action is an outcome of Prakriti, and the activity which is happening in matter is also propelled by Prakriti, Bhagwan's Para Prakriti, that is Prana. So Prana gives power for all actions to happen, whether the actions are happening at the level of the body, or the action is happening at a subtler level of knowing, or the action of enjoying. So all these actions are propelled by the pranas. So Atma is not at all involved. So ultimately a sadhak should understand that Atma is not the doer. The Atma is not the doer. All these actions are happening in Prakriti. So one who recognizes this Atma and gains abidance in this Atma becomes free, because all our bondage is the bondage of action only. So Bhagavan says ki yasya nahang krito bhavaha buddhir yasya na lipyate hatva sa iman lokan hatvapi sa iman lokan na hantina nibadhyate. So one who comes to recognize that I am not the doer, and whose buddhi doesn't get contaminated with all this false notion, such a person becomes free of this samsara. Then even whatever his body does, he is not bound by that. So we have to gain this self-knowledge and understand I am not the self is not the doer. So for this we have to gain proper understanding. So Bhagavan analyzes this thing also further, that what are the factors which propel the actions and what are the contents of action. So Bhagavan calls it karma chodana and karma sangraha. So jnanam neyam parijñata trividha karma chodana karanam karma karteti trividha karma sangraha. The knowledge which we acquire of this world, then the object of this world, and the knower are the propellers of action. Karma chodana. So any action which happens is motivated by what we know and what we are with respect to our upadhis, what we consider ourselves to be. And the objects around us propel a particular type of action. So in this, that knowledge is very important. So Bhagavan says there are three types of knowledge: sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. So when we make our knowledge more and more sattvic, our actions will also become more and more sattvic. We ourselves will become more and more sattvic, and then we will be able to transcend these three gunas. So what is this sattvic knowledge? It's a vision by which we understand that one tattva, one reality existing in all. Bhagavan says, Sarva bhuteshu ena ekam bhavam avyayam ikshate avibhaktam vibhakteshu tad jnanam vidhi sattvikam. That is called sattvic knowledge, by which we understand that though we see the world as of different form, different colors, different beings are there, different types of conditions are there, but in all of them there is one reality, one that tattva which exists in all. That vision we should be able to acquire through our study of the Shastras and from the teaching of our teacher. We should understand that there is one that tattva pervades everything. Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana Maya Tatamidam Sarvam Sutre Manigana Iva. Just as the thread pervades the mala, pushpa mala, though the flowers are of different colors and shape, but there is one thread which pervades, which links all these flowers together into a beautiful garland. So similarly, there is one thread like that self, that Param Atma, which links everyone. That vision, when we gain, that is called sattvic knowledge, and that sattvic knowledge will then propel all our action. But if a person has got rajasic knowledge, he sees differences in everything. He doesn't see that oneness. And a tamasic jnanam is there which he consider only one object of this world as everything, which is very, very tamasic and fanatic vision of life. Thereafter, Bhagavan talks about the sattvic karma which we have to perform, and sattvic karma is mainly the karma which is our duty, our swadharma. Anything other than swadharma is not sattvic. We have to do what we have to do. We have to fulfill our responsibilities. We have to do our duties. Not paradharma, not adharma, not laziness, but kartavya karma only. And a person who does this with nishkam bhav, dedicating all his kartavya karma to Ishvara without having any attachment to the results of action, is a sattvic karta. So become a sattvic karta, do sattvic actions, and have a sattvic jnanam. To gain that sattvic knowledge, we should make our buddhi also very refined, and should also have that perseverance, what is called dhriti. So Bhagavan talks about the three types of buddhi and three types of dhriti also. So that buddhi, our equipment, which we use to understand, to distinguish and to gain knowledge, should be made refined through satsang, to understand the difference between pravrutti and nivrutti, between duty and not duty, between what leads to fear and what is fearlessness, between what is bondage and what is liberation. Pravrittincha nivrittincha karya karye bhaya bhaye bandham mokshancha ya vitti buddhi sa partha sattviki. That is sattviki buddhi. But rajasic buddhi is one which doesn't understand things properly, little confused. And a tamasic buddhi is that which understands everything totally in an opposite way. White is seen as black and black is seen as white. Dharma is seen as adharma by a tamasic person. And then we should also have the dhriti, perseverance. Sattvic dhriti is that ability of our buddhi to hold on to our goal, to hold on to our that object of meditation, our own self, with perseverance. Dhritya yaya dharayate manapranendriya kriya yogena avyavicharinya dhriti sa partha sattviki. To restrain the activity of the of the body, the mind, the pranas, the senses, and focus our attention on our self with single pointed attention and with perseverance is what is called sattvic dhriti. But a person uses this perseverance only to attain the worldly pleasures of this world is rajasic dhriti, and a person uses this ability only to be to hold on to depression, sadness, fear is tamasic dhriti. Thereafter, Bhagavan talks about the three types of sukha: sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. So, sattvic sukha is that which we experience when our mantak-karana becomes calm and peaceful and pure, which appears to be very, like poison in the beginning, but as an outcome, it is like nectar only. So in the beginning, when we do our sadhana of yajna, dana, tapa, of dhyana, of japa, in the beginning it appears like poison only, so difficult. But as we continue on our path with sincerity, with love, with dedication, with faith, when we continue meditating regularly, then slowly and steadily our mind start becoming more and more pure, and we will start experiencing the inner joy. That is called sattvic joy, sattvic sukha. But as against this, the rajasic sukha is the pleasures which we experience when we indulge in sense objects of this world. And tamasic happiness is when we become lazy, sleepy, dreamy, lethargic, inadvertent. That is tamasic sukha. So, gain sattvic jnanam and perform those sattvic actions, become a sattvic karta, have sattvic buddhi, sattvic dhriti, experience that sattvic sukha, and we will be able to pursue this path of vividisha, sannyas. We'll be able to renounce the actions, and later on we will be able to renounce the sense of doership in action. And our kartavya karma depends on our varna and ashrama. Therefore, Bhagavan also talks about the four types of varna: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and the respective actions of kartavya karma of these four varnas. And then Bhagavan says that this kartavya karma we should do offering them to Ishvara. Sve sve karmani abhiratah samsiddhim labate naraha swakarma niratak siddhim yatha vindati tashrunu. Yata pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. That one should perform one's own duties. Sve sve karma means one's own karma, depending on our varna, ashrama. Our own karma we should do, our swadharma. We should find out what exactly is our swadharma and keep doing our swadharma, but dedicate these karmas to Ishvara. And who is Ishvara? Ishvara is the very source of this creation. Ishvara is one who pervades everything. So, yata pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam. Ishvara exists in this world. Ishvara is the very substratum of this world, the very source of this world, and who exists in us as our own self. One has to dedicate all actions to this Ishvara with sincerity, with love, with faith, one just dedicates one actions to Ishvara, and our mind will start becoming more and more pure. We will gain vairagya. Karamase birati. Karamate birati. One will gain vairagya. Then Bhagwan, after that, he says that once we gain that vairagya, we should also approach the teacher, gain proper knowledge, gain complete conviction that I am this Atma. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am the inner Atma. Aham Atma Gudhakesha Sarvabhuta Shayastitaha. Aham Adishcha Madhyancha Bhutanam Anta Evacha. One should constantly meditate, constantly revel and contemplate and understand that I am the innermost, that Atma, which is pervading the entire creation, in which exists everything, which exists in everything. So after gaining this complete conviction of our own self, then we should practice what is called nididhyasana or what is called jnana nishtha. So how to practice that jnana nishtha, Bhagwan tells in these 4-5 verses, कि सिद्धिम प्राप्तो यथा ब्रह्म तथाप्नोति निबोध में समासे नैव कौन्तेय निष्ठा ज्ञानस्य या परा बुद्ध्या विशुद्धया युक्तः धृत्यात्मानं नियम्य च शब्दादीन् विषयान् त्यक्त्वा रागद्वेष विदृश्य च. The first step, Bhagwan says, is to have vishuddha buddhi, extremely pure buddhi. See, as I mentioned, our buddhi is a amsha of the samashti buddhi. When the whole world comes into manifestation from that Ishvara, the first one to be born is Hiranyagarbha. And Hiranyagarbha has total buddhi, total mana, total ahankar, total pranas, and panchatan matras as his upadhis. So Hiranyagarbha's buddhi is extremely pure. In that buddhi, Hiranyagarbha has got knowledge of everything, is sarvajna. And our buddhi is a amsha, a part of that Hiranyagarbha's buddhi only. So by nature our buddhi is extremely pure. But due to ignorance and due to the defects born from ignorance, like kama, krodha, lobha, moha, raga, dvesha, the buddhi becomes more and more impure. So through our sadhana, we should make the buddhi as pure as possible, like the clean waters. Make the buddhi extremely pure. And when the buddhi becomes pure, one becomes fit to gain abidance in one's own self. Because in that crystal clear buddhi, we come to understand ourselves very clearly, without any doubt. We gain that self-knowledge with full conviction. It is like we see our own image very clearly in our own pure buddhi. Our pure buddhi is like a mirror in which we can see our own self as though very, very clearly. So thereafter we have to just focus our attention on our own self, keep looking at our own self with the help of this purified buddhi. That is, that meditation is Nididhyasana. Keep looking at your own self with the help of your purified buddhi. And for that, Bhagavan says, Vivikta Sevi Lagvashi Yatava Kaya Manasaha Dhyana Yoga Paro Nityam Vairagyam Samapashritaha. With Vairagya, at a secluded, solitary place, controlling your body, mind, senses, constantly practice this Dhyana Yoga with a purified buddhi, which has got a clear, doubtless understanding of your own self. You keep looking at your own self. And as we keep looking at ourselves, as we keep thinking of our own self, as we keep paying attention to our own self, that paradigm shift will happen. Just as when we try to sleep, we close our eyes and just lie down without thinking of anything. And then suddenly that sleep takes over and we go into the state of sleep. In the same way, in meditation, in this Nididhyasana, you just keep paying attention to your own self with the help of a purified buddhi, and automatically, naturally, that paradigm shift will happen. From the reflection, you will glide down to your own self. You will be your own self. So our sadhana, our effort is still this, that we purify our buddhi, gain that self-knowledge, clear understanding of our own self, and then keep paying attention to your own self with total quietude, at a solitary place, not disturbed by anything of this world. Just pay attention to your own self, and then that transcendence will happen. That paradigm shift will happen, and one will gain that abidance in one's own self. See, sometimes we see some optical illusions also. If you look at this at that picture, it appears like one thing, but if you keep looking, suddenly you see that it is totally different. When we look at it at the first time, it appears different, but if you keep staring at it, you find that it is, it flips and you see another side of that picture. In the same way, you keep looking at your own self with the help of the purified buddhi, and suddenly that shift will happen. In the beginning, it will happen for some fraction of a second, and as one practices for a long, long time, then one will gain abidance in one's own true self. So Bhagavan says, Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodham parigraham vimucya nirmamasyantaha brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One drops ahankar, balam, darpam, kamam, krodham and meditates and becomes fit for gaining that self-realization, becomes fit for experiencing that Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. And having attained that Brahma, one attains what is called para bhakti also. This jnana nishtha, gaining abidance in ourself, itself is param jnanam. That itself is para bhakti also. So having attained that abidance in ourself, the body will continue to exist, the world will continue to exist, the mind will continue to exist. And the self-realized master as though will be seen functioning through this body mind. So when he looks at this world, having attained that self-realization, when he looks at this world, he sees his own self everywhere. He doesn't see anything other than his own self. Everything is pervaded by his own self, everything exists in him. He gains that sarvatma bhava. Since he alone is there in everyone and everything, he has that supreme love for everyone. And that itself is what is called bhakti. Because Ishvara is present in everyone, that is, the self itself is present in everyone, and he has got love for that self. That itself is bhakti. Bhagavan says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasma tattvataha. Yaschasmi tattvataha. Tato mam tattvato nyatva vishate tadanantaram. So having attained this bhakti, he becomes one with me. Bhagavan says he enters me, means there remains no difference between Ishvara and this Bhakta. Bhakta and Bhagavan becomes one. Jiva and Ishvara becomes one. They are already one, but we, due to ignorance, we see difference, so all this difference disappears. It's like the pure water is poured into a lake full of pure water. The drop becomes one with the ocean. The space in the pot becomes one with the total space. The jnani is not different from Brahma. Brahmavid brahmaiva bhavati. Therefore Bhagavan says, you sincerely pursue this path and gain that self-knowledge and become free of this samsara. Develop that supreme love for me and become free of this samsara. I will bless you. You pour out all your love towards me and I will bless you with this self-knowledge. But Bhagavan tells Arjuna that out of ignorance and out of ahankar, if you think I will not pursue this path, then you will suffer. If you don't pursue this path, if you don't listen to my advice, then you will suffer. Ata chetvam ahankaran na shroshyasi vinakshasi. Because your prakriti will force you into different activities based on your samskar. So you will be mercilessly tossed hither and thither in this world if you don't pursue this path and don't become free. So I, the Ishvara, exist in everyone. Ishvara sarva bhutanam riddeshe arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. Ishvara exists in everyone as their own self. And the prakriti of Ishvara, what you call, tosses everyone here and there, throws away all beings here and there who are attached to this prakriti. So one should become free of this attachment and surrender to that Ishvara. Tameva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat paran shantim sthanam prapsyasi shashvatam. With his blessings, with Ishvara's blessings, you will attain that supreme peace, that state of enlightenment. Bhagavan says, I will tell you again briefly what I have revealed to you. So first follow the path of Karma Yoga and then surrender to me and become free. So manmana bhava mad bhaktah madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyante pratijane priyosi me. You have me only in your mind. Have that bhakti for me, worship me, surrender to me, and you will attain me. Just drop all your attachment to the dharma of body, mind, intellect, senses, pranas, and just surrender to me. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja ahantva sarva papebhya mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. I will release you from all your sins, all your papa, all your bondage. Just surrender to me and you will be free. So thus Bhagwan concludes his teaching, and thereafter Bhagwan tells that whom this knowledge should be given and whom it should not be given. So what is the sampradaya vidhi, that also Bhagwan reveals. Bhagwan says those who don't have tapas, don't have bhakti, and don't want to listen to this Bhagavad Gita, and they always criticize me and my teaching, you don't teach them. They are useless. They are gone cases. So don't waste your time in talking to them. In Marathi there is a saying, Gadva Pude Vasli Gita, like reading Bhagavad Gita in front of a donkey. It will be just wastage of our effort. But if a person has tapas, has bhakti for me, wants to listen to this Gita and doesn't criticize me, then you teach them with Nishkam Bhav. Just teach. Teach this Bhagavad Gita to my devotees. Teach this to those who are interested to listen. Teach this to those who have tapas in their life. That seva bhav, that bhakti towards me, towards their teacher, towards the Shastra. Teach them. Teach them. Bhagwan says, I am very, very pleased by those who teach, those who share my wisdom with others. They are very, very dear to me. There is no one more dear to me than one who shares this Bhagavad Gita knowledge with others. So this is the most beautiful thing. Bhagwan says that even those who regularly study this, they are also blessed. That will be considered as a Jnana Yajna. I will consider that they are worshipping me through Jnana Yajna. And those who listen with faith, even if they don't understand, if they just listen with faith, they will also reach the higher world. And then they will be born again and pursue this path further. And those who listen, they understand and practice, they will gain that abidance here and now and become free of this samsara. So Bhagavan asks Arjuna that have you listened properly? Kaschid etas shrutam partha tvaya ekagrena chetasa kaschid ajnana sammoha pranastaste dhananjaya. Did you listen to me properly with single pointed attention? Did your ignorance go away? Did your confusion go away? And Arjuna says, yes, Bhagwan, nashto moha smritil labdha. I have gained that memory. All my moha has gone. I have recognized my own self by your kripa, by your prasad. I am well established in the understanding of my own self. I know who am I. I am not confused now. I really know who am I. I am that deathless, birthless self expressing through this body, but I am that ajanma satchidananda atma. Karishye vachanam tava gata sandeha. All my doubts are cleared. I will do as you have advised. So finally Sanjay, he described this to Dhritarashtra. He says, I have listened to this beautiful samvad of Krishna and Arjuna, and it is so very amazing that I am feeling that horripilation in my body. All the hairs are standing on end, and it is most fascinating samvad, this dialogue. And I had the opportunity to listen to me because of my teacher's grace. Vedavyas ji has given me this Divya Drishti, by which I can hear, I can see what is happening in the battlefield. And I listened to this dialogue between Bhagwan Krishna, Yogeshwar Krishna, and Sakshat Arjuna. And directly given by Bhagwan Krishna to Arjuna. So remembering this dialogue again and again, I am feeling great joy in my heart and great excitement, great feeling of blessedness. And also I remember that fascinating form which Bhagwan had shown to Arjuna, the Vishvarupa. Taccha sansmritya rupam atyadbhutam harehe vismayo me mahan rajan rishyami cha muhurmuhu. I am feeling so elated, so happy, remembering the magnificent form of Ishvara, the Vishvarupa. Therefore Sanjay says that it is my sincere opinion कि यत्र योगेश्वर कृष्ण यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर विजयो भूतिः ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम. That wherever Krishna, Yogeshwar Krishna is there, in whichever side, whichever party, whichever place, Yogeshwar Krishna and Dhanurdhar Arjuna is there together, there alone will lie a real victory. Tatra Shrihi, there will be all wealth and Lakshmi. Vijaya, victory. Bhutihi, prosperity of all types. And Dhruva Nitihi, and that itself is the right policy. If you want to succeed in this life, if you want to achieve goodness and achieve our ultimate goal, then have Krishna and Arjuna together in your life. So Dhruva Nitihi Matir Mama, this is my firm opinion. Have Krishna, the spiritual truth, the supreme Brahma, and have Arjuna, the expression of this Brahma in this world. All both should go together. The transcendental Brahma and the immanent Brahma, that which is beyond everything and that which is expressing as everything, both we should understand in that true way. So Sanjaya declared this to Dhritarashtra and he concludes. So Om Tat Sada iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Moksha Sannyasa Yogo Nama Ashtadashodhyayaha. Thus this 18th chapter as well as this 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita concludes here. Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat. Om Kayena Vacha Mansendriyarva Buddhyatmana Va Prakrite Svabhavat Karomi Yat Yat Sakalam Parasmai Narayana Eti Samarpayami. Yat Kritam Yat Karishyami Tat Sarvam Namaya Kritam Tvaya Kritam Tu Falabhuktvameva Parameshvara. Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanam Bhavatu Swaha. So I dedicate this whole thing to Bhagwan. May his kripa be upon all of us. May by his grace we follow this path shown by him very sincerely, and attain our ultimate goal. Om Tat Sat. I am very happy that I got this opportunity to talk on this Bhagavad Gita. This is the first time I have been speaking continuously on Gita. Maybe this was a blessing in disguise, this pandemic, that all of us are confined to our homes and we could study this Gita by Bhagwan's grace. And I have spoken on Gita many times, but this time it was totally different. So it was very inspiring and very special. So I would request you, all of you, to please go through these pravachans again and again. You can also download the entire pravachan. You can take help of those who are expert in this cyber thing. You can download all my pravachan, keep it with you, keep them with you, and listen to them again and again, and also share these pravachans with your friends, your relatives, because this is the greatest gift you can give to anyone. So may Bhagwan's kripa be upon all of us always. Om Tat Sat. We shall chant Bhagavad Gita Arati and conclude. And tomorrow we shall meet little early. We will meet at 11:30 and we will do Bhagwan Sri Ramchandraji's puja. Bhagwan was born in the afternoon, 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock is our regular class time, but we will begin little early tomorrow at 11:30 and we shall do Bhagwan's puja and offer this whole yajna to Ishvara and seek his blessings. Okay? Now we shall chant the Arti. Om Jaya Bhagavad Gita Maya Jaya Bhagavad Gita Harihi Kamal Viharini Sundara Supunite Om Jaya Bhagavad Gita Karma Sumarma Prakashini Kama Sakti Hara Tattva Bhagavad Gita Nishchala Bhakti Vidhayini Nirmala Malahari Sharana Rahasya Pradayini Sabhabidhi Sukhakari Om Jaya Bhagavad Gita Raga Dvesha Vidarini Karini Moda Sada Bhava Bhayaharini Tarini Paramananda Prada Om Jaya Bhagavad Gita Devi Asura Bhava Vinashini Nashini Tamarajani Devi Sadgunadaini Hari Rasika Sajani Om Jaya Bhagavad Gita Mamata Tyaga Sikhavani Hari Mukha Ki Bani सकल शास्त्र की स्वामिनी श्रुतियों की रानी ओम जय भगवद गीते दया सुधा बरसावनी मातु कृपा की जय हरिपद प्रेम दान कर सपनों कर लीजय ओम जय भगवद गीते ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। हरिः कमलविहारिणि सुन्दरसुपुनीते। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। बोलिए श्रीमद् भगवद गीता मैया की जय। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। ओम तत्सत् ब्रह्मार्पणं भवतु स्वाहा। ओम तत्सत् ब्रह्मार्पणं भवतु स्वाहा। ओम तत्सत् ब्रह्मार्पणं भवतु स्वाहा। हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम। So Hari Om. We shall meet again tomorrow at 11:30. So till then you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy. Do your work, do your sadhana, listen to these pravachans again and again. And we shall meet again tomorrow at 11:30 and do Bhagwan Sri Ram Navami Puja. Okay? Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram जय जय राम। बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।